9 ways to self-stimulate when a person suffers from a loss of enthusiasm. The many situations in our daily life can be factors for loss of enthusiasm, and sometimes even the reversal of goals. Read this post and learn to motivate yourself when you feel frustrated. The many situations in our daily life may be factors for the loss of enthusiasm and sometimes undoing goals. Read this post and learn how to motivate oneself when you feel down and down. Self-motivation, a key component of working more efficiently, is enthusiasm. However, there are many unexpected situations in our daily life that make us despair and frustrated for a few moments. This is very common in people's lives. Especially if you work on your own account at home office, feeling a loss of enthusiasm may mark the beginning of a lot of mistakes and regression during the course of business. So, it is very important to know how to motivate yourself automatically. Controlling our thoughts and knowing how to behave when we have a lack of enthusiasm can help us a lot in improving many situations. Regardless of external factors, it is imperative that you learn to motivate yourself in order to achieve more positive outcomes as possible. We know that a career may go through many tremors and challenges, but there is no need to despair and retreat in front of the first difficulties in your path. Read below 9 ways to help you motivate yourself, and at the end of this post you will have tools to help you not give up when you become desperate. Methods of self-motivation. 1. Set a goal. Oftentimes, we can feel a loss of enthusiasm for not having a good understanding of the goal we aspire to reach. Do you know the motivation that makes you do what you do in daily life? What would you like to achieve with your everyday situations? And why do you want to reach these goals? Stopping a little and thinking about your professional situations is a great way to get to know yourself more. After you understand the actions you have taken, you can more effectively determine your goals. Having well-defined goals is a method of self-motivation. This is because enthusiasm always increases every time we reach our goals that we set for ourselves. But be careful not to set goals that go far beyond your capabilities. Feeling of frustration and hopelessness may be the result of a high degree of self-motivation stemming from our high efforts. When we are not aware of the importance of a situation, we create undue pressure in our daily lives. So choose goals based on your strengths and the resources in your possession that you can use. Do you know how to motivate yourself through your goals? Self-motivation? Talking about your primary goals and not accepting normal and comfortable things is great for understanding the goal you aspire to reach. In addition, create short, medium and long-term plans that can be implemented and carried out. Plan through a list of things you can do and always select items you've completed. You will notice that every time you complete an item or activity on your list you will feel self-accomplishment and a sense of competence. 2. Change your focus a little bit from the thoughts you usually think of. One way to help you motivate yourself is to be able to control your focus on your thoughts. You may have noticed how we always think about other people's opinions. So much so, we assume what others think too, right? There are many situations that we take, not because we like it, but because we think it is important for someone. This may be one of the biggest drivers for causing enthusiasm. So, shift some of your focus on the market and others, and think about yourself. How do you feel about current situations? Don't always make up your mind when you only think about external factors. Of course you should take your business into consideration as well as the people around you, but try to do it while you are fully aware of how you feel about everything that is around you. Change is the third ingredient that helps you motivate yourself when you suffer from despair, loss of enthusiasm and activity. 3. Make new choices whenever needed. Sometimes, some changes make up everything we need to feel more excited. We are not talking here about the major route changes. Big developments may happen sometimes, yes of course, but sometimes you may need very small transformations that you make on what you do. New and unknown always create a few feelings of distrust and even fear for us. But you should know that if you don't try, at least you will never know that this new thing will be useful for you. And not because you have decided a long time ago and you are earning competencies for a specific task and you must spend the whole life while you are doing this. This may constitute a reason not to try new things and areas. New and unknown always create a few feelings of distrust and even fear for us. But you should know that if you don't try, at least you will never know that this new thing will be useful for you. Example, in the digital market, especially in preparing a course or an online course, people choose the market sectors they think they prefer and love. And so they devote their entire time to learning more about the audience in them and the features of the performance area. However, we have changed over the years and this person may change his mind regarding the market sector that he had previously chosen. This is where the feeling of loss of enthusiasm begins. Because of spending so much time studying and making high efforts in that area, many people may not have the courage to make a change. They believe that trying to do something and starting from scratch represents a reversal and a backward stage. And so they are not able to realize that insisting on something that we no longer like to do only increases their frustration and despair. You should know that it is not because you started in a field that means that this field is ideal for you. Life is about choices, and you always have the option to switch to the field that you love the most. But even if you decide long ago to do something that you will not do anymore, what you have done is not considered a waste of time or a loss. Whatever we learn in this life, we can accumulate and gather it to help us with something new in the future. Knowing self-motivation also means learning to want to change your procedures, mainly in the professional setting. Nevertheless, beware of hesitation, because sometimes we delude ourselves and go back on everything very quickly. Change may be very important, but changing continuously as well without being consistent with what you have started before is not a good strategy at all. In sum, it is imperative that we try to make as much effort as possible before changing and moving to another field. So, think carefully if you are changing for the better or if you are just stepping back and giving up on doing something that looks so difficult. 4. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. All the good results that we obtained in our career were caused by the good plans that we have made and our work that we have done. This means that achieving goals does not only depend on luck. Knowing self-motivation means having a strong will to prevail, facing risks in a planned manner, celebrating victory, and mainly learning from mistakes. Especially since making mistakes is a good thing, because it is the way to get to know other ways to do our tasks better. So, learn from your mistakes, admit them and accept them. Do not punish yourself while you slip. Use this to adjust your actions rather than as a tool to frustrate you. Rather, treat it as a measure of not making the same mistakes again. You can free yourself to study more, and this leads us to talk about the fifth method of self-motivation. 5. Learn something new every day. Will and initiative are two essential features of self-motivation. You need to think about getting your enthusiasm up again and you should try to change as you think about giving up. Learning something new every day is a very effective tool that helps you motivate yourself whenever the need arises. The more information and knowledge we have on a specific subject, the more authority, proficiency and self-confidence we will gain. This makes us truly believe in our capabilities and what we do. Invest your potential well and mainly your acquaintances. Set instructional goals and work to reach them through extensive study and information exchange. 6. Be positive. Have you heard of the theory that positive thinking generates positive results? So, free yourself from the factors that can lead to self-destruction or isolation. Do not feel the heaviness and pressure in the mind due to negative thoughts that would only frustrate one's enthusiasm. Of course, it is never easy to think positively. But there are some people who can help you when you are in despair and without enthusiasm. Find the strengths that lie in you. Repeat for the subconscious mind that always has positive information about you. For example, I can, this is possible. Maintain contact with the people who motivate you and avoid those people who focus only on your mistakes. Believe in your ability to perform the activities assigned to you. If necessary, seek a specialist to speak with to help you identify and confirm the beliefs you believe in. Watching the whole world, and especially your stances from a positive angle, helps you maintain wonderful positive energy and high self-motivation. 7. Invest in various other resources that bring satisfaction. It is very important to break away from the world of different professional tasks for a few minutes a day. One of the motivations that frustrates many people is the inability to separate a specific time for them to be outside the professional domain. This may be more difficult for those who work at home. You must set some hours for convenience. Regardless of where you work, remember to solve problems related to your profession within the time available. When you do not find yourself able to find solutions on what to do on the business front, try to relax your mind from thinking. There are many options for entertainment, such as listen to motivational music, reading books of different styles, go to the theater, watch movies, traveling, even if it is to a nearby location and only over the weekend, doing sports, meditation, meeting with friends to talk. Even when there are problems at work, these methods are important for you to increase your self-motivation so that you do not despair. With a few steps like this, you can replenish your energies and increase your desire to follow steadily, with strength and motivation. 8. Use coaching tools. Do you know what coaching means? It is a process that aims to provide support to people, which contributes to their improvement as individuals and, as a result, they develop and change. These tools are also known as self-knowledge, as this training helps you to recognize your potential. So, if necessary, seek the help of this type of professional person to find motives that make you step forward. 9. Meet people who have been successful. Have you noticed that talking to people who have reached and achieved their goals is motivating? It is very important to have people who are a reference in your life, especially if you are starting a new project. Getting to know and building relationships with people who have achieved positive results are great ways to stimulate oneself. Each of us has a different story. After all, the results we achieve depend on the rate of effort we put in. So, communicating with someone who has achieved what he or she desires may also make us want to study more and make more efforts. Moreover, as we said earlier, it is very good to have people around you who have positive thinking and are willing to help you. What we can reach in conclusion. When we start a new business activity, essentially if it is work we do while we are at home, there are some factors that make us frustrated. The absence of time, the people around us, the economy of the country, and even fear of risk are examples of these problems. We know that in the beginning, everything may seem somewhat arduous and more than we expect. However, we must be careful not to be frustrated. Maintaining a high level of motivation and work in every area of life is the main way to prosper and achieve success. So it is very important to maintain self-motivation. If you have certainly arrived here, you may have noticed how important it is that you learn to work on self-motivation, so that you do not give up and back away from your dreams. So when you feel frustrated, remember these 9 ways to increase your self-motivation.